The movies on either side of the tram represent just a few of the ones that have made us laugh, ones that have made us cry, and ones that have won us some major awards. Like an Oscar. We won our very first Oscar all the way back in 1930 with the film All Quiet on the Western Front. We have new films coming out. The first new film of the year is the film Megan, which will be coming out January 6th, the end of this week. At the top of each movie poster, you'll see a globe. That, of course, is our logo. You see it all throughout the parks and at the beginning of all of our films. But as our films have evolved throughout the years, so has the changing of that logo. Off to the right, there's a structure that looks like a fire department, acts like a fire department, and that's because it is a real working fire department. Universal City has its very own fire, police, bank, and post office. In the earlier days of the studio, you could get in for just a quarter. With that admission, you'd be given a box lunch and a carton of eggs on your way out. We've changed a few things since then, but one thing we haven't changed is where we film. We have two major locations, the front lot and on the back lot. The front lot, we film what's making a sound stage. It makes it much easier for filming because we can regulate how much sound goes in and out of these buildings. Virtually 98% soundproof. We're coming up on our first sound stage around this corner to the left at stage 12. It's one of our 36 sound stages that we have. Here are a few of the famous films that have happened in stage 12. This past month in December marked the 90th anniversary of the Universal horror classic The Mummy, starring Boris Karloff. That film, The Mummy, also filmed in stage 12, as well as another location out on our back lot. We're passing more sound stages over to the left. A lot of times shows need more than one sound stage for filming. And that's the case for the show Grand Crew, which uses stages 9, 10, and 11 on the left. That's on Peacock. It's in season 2. It stars Nicole Byer, you know her as the host of the Netflix reality competition show Nailed It. And then there are times where shows will share sound stages. And the next group of sound stages usually is used as a unit. If you're using one of them, you're usually using all three of them. And that is 7, 8, and 14. 7 and 8 are directly to the left. 14 is just ahead of us. But the first show that's been in those sound stages is the show Bel Air, which is also on Peacock in season 2, starring Jabari Banks, Adrienne Holmes, and Cassandra Freeman. Now 14 is just beyond these trailers to the left-hand side of the tramp. The other show that has filmed in those sound stages is the show Hacks, which is on HBO Max, starring Emmy Award-winning Jean Smart, Hannah Eyebinder, and Megan Stalter. We filmed several scenes from Jurassic Park in stage 14, like the scene where the kids are up in the tree and the brontosaurus sneezes in their faces. That happened in stage 14. There's a lot of construction happening out on our front lot. We're undergoing an immense expansion due to all the need for TV and film production right here in LA. And as our studio has been growing, so is our theme park. We're excited to finally announce the opening date for Super Nintendo World. That's going to be February 17th of 2023. You can find out more information about Super Nintendo World on our website and on our social media accounts. Right now we're traveling down something called Sitcom Alley, which is the nickname it was given in the early days of the studio. That's because for all the major sitcoms of that time were being filmed off of the sound stages to the right. Shows like Different Strokes and Facts of Life. Today is still just as busy in stages 16 and 17. We've got the show Boats, which those are the sound stages they've been using. And those same sound stages, but adding one more, so 16, 17, and 18. We filmed the last season of the show Never Have I Ever, starring Maitreyi Ramakrishnan, and produced by Mindy Kaling. You can catch up right now by watching seasons 1 through 3 on Netflix. Stage 19 is off to the right. Many shows have come and gone in that soundstage. We filmed 4 seasons of The Good Place in that soundstage, starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson. We've also filmed Hollywood Game Night, hosted by Jane Lynch, the show Good Girl, starring Rena and Mae Whitman, and the show Quantum Leap. Now this is a reboot of Quantum Leap. It's on Peacock. The original also filmed out here on our back and front lot, so they thought, well, where do we go to make the reboot? Well, to the place we already know, which is the back lot of Universal Studios. Quantum Leap, Never Have I Ever, and The Good Place all utilize a soundstage as well as another physical location out on the back lot. Off to the left, we have these little houses. We call them the bungalows. In the early days of the studio, they were used as dressing rooms for some of the top stars, including Dorsey, Lucille Ball, Jimmy Stewart, and Rob Benson. Now, when you worked at the studio at that time, you were contracted to it, meaning you could only work at one studio at a time. So these were built as a home away from home for those artists. But today, they're used as production offices for some of the top writers, producers, directors in town. We've got Illumination Entertainment in there. They're responsible for the Yellow Minions of the Despicable Me franchise, the Cute Pets of the Secret Life of Pets. We have Monkey Paw Productions. That's Jordan Peele's production company. He's brought you films like Get Out, Nope, Us, and Candyman. We have $7, that's Dwayne Johnson's production company. We have Mark Platt Productions, that he's brought you movies like Pitch Perfect and Broadway musicals like Dear Evan Hansen and Wicked. Wicked is getting a movie adaptation starring Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Jonathan Bailey, and Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard. We have newer sound stages to the front lot. These sound stages were originally built for Hairspray Live, off to the left-hand side of the trim. They were originally built for Hairspray Live. Since then, they've been home to a number of different shows. For 3 seasons, they were home to Will and Grace when they came back to NBC to finish right where they left off. And it's also been used a lot for reality competition television, like America's Got Talent and World of Dance. It's also been used for sitcoms like Kenan, starring Kenan Thompson, Chris Redd, Don Johnson, and Kimberly Lewis. Also the show Lopez v. Lopez, which stars George Lopez and his daughter. Now we're leaving the front lot behind, entering into the back lot where the world is literally just around the corner. We shoot the big stuff out here, large exterior scenes on a much grander scale. Within our back lot, we have 2 main types of sets. We have something called a facade, that's just the front side of a building. And then we have something called a practical set, which includes a steel infrastructure in which we can film in the indoors, outdoors, all around. We have a lot of those examples out here, and I'll show you them as we pass by. But I'm going to show you one of the most filmed locations. This is Brownstone Street, where Jim Carrey lives in Bruce Almighty.
Raise the door!
Now, from the small town of Hill Valley to the big bustling metropolis, we're going to take you to another place where that is really recognizable to most people. We call this Courthouse Square, though many people recognize it as Hill Valley from Back to the Future. Now that clock tower might look slightly different than it did in the film. That's because they had to build a facade to go in front of it. Because any time anybody else came onto this area of the lot, all they saw was a DeLorean going 88 miles per hour. And it was really hard to envision their production happening here. A lot of different types of shows actually do film out in this area. It's a beautiful spot to film. It's usually used as a town square because it is a square. They used it for the town of Rutherford Falls for the show Rutherford Falls. You can see seasons 1 and 2 of that show on Peacock starring Ed Helms. This was also used as Boston for the show Ted. This is a prequel to the movies of the same name, starring Seth MacFarlane and Max Burkholdt. That will also be on Peacock. These are some other examples of what Courthouse Square can look like. The big metropolitan city, and we call these the metro sets because we can create any sort of large downtown scene we need for filming. These streets have become our very own downtown Los Angeles. They've also become the streets of Chicago, but the streets we represent the most out here are those busy New York ones. Within our New York streets, we have our very own Macy's, our very own Broadway theaters. It's like we took a 34th Street and dropped it right here in sunny Southern California. Now my co-host knows a thing or two about these streets. After all, he lives there. Yo, Jimmy.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there by an old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here. It's cool, guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
We also created an obstacle course for American Ninja Warrior in those Metro sets. From the concrete jungle to the real one, here's Peter Jackson of King Kong.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up on the edge. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island. We really put a lot of thought into the character and personality of Kong, and he's so much more than a monster. In fact, he's not a monster. He is an incredibly majestic, ancient creature. He's a force of nature. He's old, he's wise, he's proud, he's fierce, and obviously he has a heart. The most important feature with Kong are his eyes. Kong's eyes are wonderfully expressive. They're full of emotion. His eyes are like a window into his personality and his heart. He's had an enormous number of encounters with his foes, the T-Rexes and the various dinosaurs on Skull Island, so he's been beaten up, scarred, chewed up, spat out by these dinosaurs at various times, and he wears the scars of a lot of ancient battles.
All right, everyone, adventure does await us, so please hang on to those belongings and remain seated at all times. Welcome to Skull Island. You can go ahead and take off those 3D glasses. You won't need them until later on in the tour. Don't worry, I'll let you know when. Now, the epic battle that you all just survived was brought to you on two of the world's largest 3D screens, measuring about 40 feet tall and 180 feet wide. It was brought to you by the team of Weta FX in collaboration with Mr. Peter Jackson. Over the years, they've brought you 6 Academy Award-winning films like Avatar, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, The Jungle Book, and of course, King Kong.
With a Project X Studio Tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions, there's creatures coming at them, they're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side. Working on a movie, you always know people are looking straight at the looking at the shot that they're working on. Taking account that people are looking in all directions. Also, one of the things about this world and the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts. Because it's one shot and it's tram that's riding along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away. We're really creating about 50 minutes of pictures. Don't know how visual information, that number of pixels and presenting to you is incredible.
Now, you might have noticed during King Kong 360 3D that a portion of our tramp got sucked into the screen and became a part of the attraction itself. That is what we like to call a picture car, and that's any type of vehicle is used or seen in a TV show, a movie, a commercial, or a music video. And we're riding on a picture car right now, as our tram has been seen in several movies like Big Fat Liar, and TV shows like Will and Grace. But I'll show you some other examples of what picture cars can look like on your screens. And to the left are what they look like in person. Now, these are some of Universal's most famous picture cars in all of our motion history. You could go on to say that most of these cars have become more famous than the actors who originally drove them. The Ferrari from Magnum PI is a bit of a fake. It was just the outside shell of a Ferrari. The inside engine is a Volkswagen engine. They realized during production that the Ferrari's engine made way too much noise and disrupted filming so much they had to rebuild the car with a much smaller and quieter engine. So we have some hybrid vehicles from the Flintstones. A flying car from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets aboard Anglia. A very fast car from Too Fast, Too Furious, the Nissan Skyline that was originally driven by Paul Walker in the film. And then we also have some prehistoric ones from the Jurassic World and Jurassic Park franchises. The Fry's Electronics van is new to our picture car unit. It is from the movie Nope, directed by Jordan Peele. Next door to that, there's another Jordan Peele vehicle. It is the Crawdaddy, that is a Wilson family boat from the movie Us. And the tank from Transformers, I don't recommend going into any sort of battle arena with that. You'll lose. It is made out of wood. It's just painted to a heavy metal tank. Now, one of my favorite picture cars is the Jeep Wrangler Sahara from the Jurassic Park films. There's one over on the right-hand side of the tram, but there's also one hiding in this scene.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Welcome to our very own Jurassic Park, and as we enter through these gates, all along the sides of the tram are props and set pieces used in the famous dinosaur films. Now, what looks like rusted metal that's been here over time, that is just wood that's been painted to look like rusted metal.
But the tire's real, right? The tire?
The camouflage tank on the left is the mobile lab unit, used and seen in The Lost World, the second in the franchise, starring Julianne Moore, Vince Vaughn, and Jeff Goldblum. Here at Universal, dinosaurs are in our DNA, so we like to keep them on hand in their empty cages. Okay, well, the mobile lab unit certainly is not empty. I'm not exactly sure where those dinosaurs could have gone. Oh, okay, well, found them. Uh-oh. Which is a little bit scary. But you know what? I've never been through a life-threatening situation without a life-saving tip. Whenever you are being chased down by a bloodthirsty dinosaur, all you need to do is pick up a pair of heels and run as fast as you can. That's what Bryce Dallas Howard taught me in Jurassic World. Now let me show you what that mobile lab unit looks like on the big screen.
Oh my god. Betul kan? Betul kan?
Now in that scene overhead, there was a lot of rain. That's because weather plays a large part in setting the mood and tone for the Jurassic Park films. But it doesn't always rain here in LA, so sometimes we need to create the rain in other ways, or else we'll be waiting forever to film. Let's see if we can make it rain out here in Old Mexico, and there we have it. Now we create this rain effect using high-powered sprinklers, which shoots the water straight up into the air. And then we have a technique called gravity, which lets it fall down looking like a real rainstorm. The earlier days of film, the rain was harder to see, but we perfected it throughout the years. We do make around with fingers so they're usually right on camera, and our cameras are better, they can put those plenty of details. We need more than just water, however, for a rainstorm. We need some sound effects of the rubbing of the thunder, the strobe lighting effect to create the lightning, and voila, we've created the perfect storm. Oh no, we've caused too much of it. To the drier side, where it's like Three Amigos and Nacho Libre, and TV shows like Westworld, Picard, and Quantum Leap. But now it's time to say adios to Old Mexico and howdy to the Old West. Welcome to 6 Points, Texas. 6 Points got its name because it has 6 different streets, each of which has its own bank, saloon, post office, and jail. It's like each street is its own little town. Most of the sets on our back lots are what we call facades, just fronts and sides of buildings, but the saloon on your left is what we call a practical set, meaning it has a full interior. Many of Hollywood's biggest Western stars like Jimmy Stewart and John Wayne once moseyed down this street, but at night, the saloon is still open, and the West is as wild as ever. And we also filmed several scenes from the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in these sets. And that's starring Leonardo DiCaprio and directed by Quentin Tarantino. Meantime, now across the pond we have more sound stages. These sound stages are used by The Voice, stages 30, 31, and 34. The Voice is in its 22nd season on NBC. The coaches this season are Blake Shelton, John Legend, Gwen Stefani, and Camila Cabello. We also have filmed American Song Contest in these sound stages, 30 and 31. That's hosted by Kelly Clarkson and Snoop Dogg. And there are some underground scenes in the movie Us. Those actually took place in those sound stages across the pond as well. Now we have reached the halfway mark of the tour, and I want to remind everyone to please remain seated while we're on the tram. The studio is private property, and if at any time you drop your cell phone and you just can't wait to use the restroom, pull that cord overhead and remain seated. And now it's time to cross a different type of pond. Down to one of my favorite spots on the back lot, the Little Europe section. Now Little Europe is one of the oldest spots on our back lot. It has so much movie history here for Universal, and it always looks a little too good to be true. That's because these are the sets of The Good Place starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson.
You, Eleanor Shellstrom, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Now, in these cobblestone streets, we also filmed one of my favorite movie musicals of all time, Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, starring Brandy and Whitney Houston, Victor Garber, Whoopi Goldberg, Jason Alexander, Bernadette Peters, and Paolo Montalban. We also created the fictional country of Genovia for The Princess Diaries 2, a royal engagement starring Anne Hathaway, Chris Pine, and the legendary Julie Andrews. Now, one of my favorite TV shows of all time, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, also filmed several scenes in the streets anytime there was a flashback scene involving the character Angel. They were usually gallivanting around Europe, and these streets were used specifically in the Christmas episode. These streets turned into Ireland. Now, while this area is fit for a fairy tale, it actually started off as quite a nightmare. To the right, that is the oldest spot on our back lot. It is the Court of Miracles, and it's where the Universal Monster film was born. And we created the monster genre. We'd be nowhere without it, as it was our bread and butter in the early days of the studio. The year was 1931, and the film was Frankenstein, one of the most important horror films ever made. And that wasn't the only classic Universal horror film to film in this area. We also filmed The Wolfman, The Bride of Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This became Cairo, Egypt for The Mummy, starring Boris Karloff, and Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi. Now, most people don't realize it. There's actually two versions of Dracula filmed on these sets at the same time. The English language version was shot during the day, and the Spanish language version was shot at night, using the same sets, but different actors.
I am Dracula. Soy I never drink. Why? Yo nunca bebo.
Now we're going to head into stage 50. This is a special soundstage that we have located out on our back lot. We filmed an episode of the TV show Bones in this soundstage, starring David Boreanaz and Emily Deschanel.
Look, they're sweets.
He looks very upset.
When I talked to him, he got in his arms.
That's with the FBI?
FBI, yeah. Hear about the human remains.
That's him. Right over there.
You alright?
Now we have entered into a hot set, so everything is in place for filming the next scene. Please remain seated at all times while we're inside the soundstage so that nothing on the set is disturbed. Now this is a great example of how we can transform the insides of the soundstage to whatever we need for filming. In this case, it's a subway station, and we've taken you out of LA or down San Francisco, because that sign over there says, welcome to San Francisco. So the props and set pieces all along the sides of the is also a cast of it was usually seen on the show.
What's going on?
Now we are about to enter into Amity, the small New England town terrorized by the man-eating great white shark and one of Universal's greatest hits, Jaws. Director Steven Spielberg utilized nighttime scenes to increase the terror of his film, like when a young woman is out for a midnight swim. Owen Richard Dreyfuss goes searching for a lost fisherman. We're just remain calm and seated as we make our way across the dock to safety. Kids, he just spilled his juice box. I don't want you guys to worry. I told him not to go swimming with Hawaiian punch in his pockets, but he never listens to me. As long as we hide out behind these flammable gas tanks, we should be fine. Oh good, he said Jason came out. Well, it's time to panic. Now he's also very talented, you'll notice he's the only shark in existence who can swim in the backstroke. Though talented, he was a bit of a terror to work with on the set of Jaws.
That's much for a lion shark. The shark is frustrating. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio waves. They were always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working.
We just waited around. We just waited and waited and waited.
The shark worked well enough for a while there, and it was a problem. So I really owe the shark a lot.
That area has also been used for an episode of The Good Place, but it's also known as Cabot Cove from the show Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. Now up on this hill to the right-hand side of the tram, there's a house, and that house is our chicken ranch. No, we don't raise our own chickens here, but here are a few of the famous films that have hatched in this location. The Chicken Ranch is a practical set. We can film on the indoors, the outdoors, all around. We need for one more flexibility while filming. Right behind the Chicken Ranch is a weird half of the house, just the front and side of a building, a perfect example of a facade. Just the front and side of a building. All that they needed to build to show that the Chicken Ranch had next door neighbors, but silly that they forgot about the neighborhood down the street to the left that is full of houses. Now down this street, this is our Colonial Street. It's also called Anywhere USA. That's because it looks like we could pick it up and put it wherever we wanted in the United States, and it would look like it would fit. Keep it as nice as it is right now for a West Coast spring and summer. Maybe pump up the heat just a touch for the summer portion. And then we can add Christmas lights, snow on the ground, pumpkins on the front stoop, fall leaves in the trees, and that's perfect for an East Coast fall and winter. And I've taken you across the country in just one neighborhood. This neighborhood is also commonly recognized as Wisteria Lane, from Desperate Housewives. Now, before they added to seasons. After season 1, this cul-de-sac did not exist. They added that in after the popularity of the show grew. And they just really needed to round out the neighborhood, making it feel like you were truly in the heart of suburbia and what's more suburban than a cul-de-sac. They also, more importantly, added the houses at the very end of the cul-de-sac, which were utilized by housewives on the show. That very last house is a practical set. We can film indoors, outdoors, all around it, but most of the houses out here are just shells of houses. They don't have any real working interiors. The house over to the right, the gray and white house, has a tree growing out of the middle of it, so it's essentially a giant tree house. Next door to that house, the yellow and sage house, that house is seen on the show Never Have I Ever. The lead character, Devi Vishwal Kumar, that's her house that she shares with her mom, her aunt, and her grandma. She's played by Maitreyi Ramakrishnan. Let me show you what Colonial Street has looked like in some other productions. Now, no area on our backlot goes to waste. Right now, we are traveling up a road that we call Wilderness Road. And this area is used a lot for depicting rural highways, hiking trails, campsites, graveyards. Often close-up shots can be achieved with just a small amount of space and not using the actual location. It's not needed. They can always get stock footage of Griffith Park, and then when there's a scene of just 2 people, they can do it out here on this area. We've used this area for filming 911, for Bird Box, Good Girls, and CSI. And we have about 15 minutes left on the tour. We will be returning to the theme park shortly. Please remember to remain seated while we're on the tram and pull the red cord overhead if you need any assistance. And that's one of the largest, most... This area that we're going into right now, this is our Picture Car 2.0 area, and we have cars out here that we use for picture cars in the actual theme park, like the London double-decker bus. We also have this striped ice cream truck in front has been used for Halloween Horror Nights for several scare zones in the past. The green Mini Cooper was used in the movie Mr. Bean's Holiday, starring Rowan Atkinson. We've got cars from Fast and Furious, like Dominic Toretto's Charger. We've got the Duesenberg from The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. And then we've got more cars from Fast and Furious. There's a lot of those films, so they have to have a lot of different types of cars for the movies. All of the cars are parked and ready to check in to one of the creepy sets out on our back lot. From Alfred Hitchcock's classic thriller Psycho, this is the Bates Motel. Variety just released its first ever list of top 100 films. A lot of Universal films made the list, but Psycho made the list at number 1. All right, so that is Norman Bates. Sometimes he gets a bit, he gets kind of upset when he sees all of us. He gets anxious because he sees there's too many of us, not enough rooms. So we shouldn't bother him. I'm sure he's got a lot to do today. New year, new him. He's going to clear out some bad energy. Oh, okay, that's odd. Okay, Norman, you have a tram full of witnesses. I can see you. Oh, great. Yep, he knows that. All right, Rob, let's check on out of here right now.
No le pueden meter más para
Alright, Norman, you know what, buddy? Maybe we just take a nice deep breath and a nice shower. Yeah. Chill out. It'll be fine, I promise. For one of the creepiest sets still left in Hollywood, the Psycho house over on the left. Mother's upstairs. She's dying to see you. And from one of the most scary places out here on our back lot to one of the most impressive, this is Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. Now, if you're wondering if this is a real airplane, the answer is yes. That is a Boeing 747 aircraft. It's retired and looks nice cushy retirement out here on our back lot. It was originally purchased for $60,000, and then it was shipped here for a mere $200,000 and ripped up and destroyed into 3 separate pieces. This is all that is left in the neighborhood where Tom Cruise hid out in the film.
That is all designed around the to sit down to talk about War of the World. I thought, what if the 747 was down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see. You're doing good. You're doing good. Stand close.
Robbie, get in. Get in.
Universal has been fortunate to work with some generation-defining directors like Alfred Hitchcock and Steven Spielberg. And now we're thrilled to partner with Academy Award winner Jordan Peele. We're taking you to Jupiter's Flame. These are the sets from his film Nope, starring Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, and Stephen Yeun. Welcome to Jupiter's Flame. Here to tell you more about the sets is Jordan Peele.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Juke Park. Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Sheriff. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Well, I do. A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy of a golden frontier lies a sinister secret. Isn't that a miracle? You're about to find out. Welcome to the world of no.
Take that advice and get out. Like Jordan Peele's other film. Now, those are the actual sets used in the film Nope. Once they were done filming up in the Santa Clarita Valley, they wrapped them all up and brought them back down here and reconstructed them on our back lot in almost the exact same configuration that you see in the film. They were done by production designer Ruth DeYoung. Now, before we end our tour today, I completely forgot. I said I would stop by a party, and I think it's happening right about now. Yep, it's happening right now. You know what? I'm going to bring you guys along. Don't worry. You have no choice. You'll have to come along with me regardless. Now, I did RSVP for a +1. So 150 of you guys should be just fine. I'm sure they can accommodate. It is a surprise party, however, so I want to make sure they've got everything ready for us to join. That we're not too early or too late. But don't worry, we're just going to cruise on through here real quick, and then we'll get out up their hair and you'll be able to finish the mark for us. See if they're ready for us to join.
Pleased to meet you. wheels. Extra.
So did you break it down to them?
What's that?
You had one job to do, and one. Alright, look guys, we're gonna keep Shaw from finding you, but to keep you safe, we need your help. We don't want the syndicate tracking us here, so put away your cameras and turn off your cell phones. One flash or one ringtone could give us away.
I need y'all to take this real serious.
Okay, pull into the next bay and we'll meet you in there.
Alright, well thanks for that update. Again, we're gonna cruise on through and get this party started. Here we go.
This is what we doing. This is the race day after party. And where the other?
Roman Pierce, FBI, don't move. Neil, that's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shit, man?
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, just back up a little bit. I got you. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. Cop us just to clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Yeah, but mine's a whole lot bigger than yours. Escort this novice out.
Let's go, Cookie Puss.
You got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle of something.
You see what I'm talking about?
Call you back. It was on vibrate.
Shaw traced us. Ops can't hold him forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. Driver, move that vehicle.
It's about to get real interesting. My Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door.
Roman, grab your truck. I need you and Letty ready to roll.
Alright then, we're moving right now. Okay, well that took a bit of a turn. I wasn't expecting that, but it's okay, we're gonna get through it. We can handle these changes. Now's a good idea to put on those protective glasses. Hop says this is the safest places for us, so we're gonna lay low, stick together, and remain in our seats at all times.
That's okay.
Which one of you is the witness? Speak now, or you won't get fried!
This is our turn.
my god.
Just survived the most outrageous chase of all time. Was that Fast and Furious or what? That was Supercharged.
My Mona Lisa got messed up a little bit, but it's all good. We got through it. Y'all held us down. Appreciate it. They said the bigger the family, the stronger it is. That's the good. And you're welcome to join our crew anytime.
The blockbuster action sequence you just experienced is a great example of modern-day filmmaking. For over 100 years, Universal Studios has been thrilling audiences around the globe, making them laugh, cry, or sit at the edge of their seats. We're nearing the end of our tour today, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking the world-famous studio tour. I'd also like to give it up for our wonderful driver, Rob. Give it up for Rob, everyone, for getting us back safely from our trip. To all of my annual pass holders, thanks so much for being with us here today. And if you're not an annual pass holder but would like more information on how to become one so you can come back again and again, go visit the Universal box office in the park or any of our upgrade kiosks for more details. If you have the Universal Studios Hollywood app downloaded, great. If not, download it. And there you can see all the wait times for all the rides you still need to get to tonight. Showtimes for any of the shows still going on in the park. Make sure you see the Animal Wonder show and the special effects show before January 8th. They will be permanently closing on that date. You can also see of any of the holiday events that have been added to the schedule because it is still the Grinchmas season. So there will be some tree lightings and the night lights at